Hello everybody, my name is Jillian coming at you from the True North Life Homestead, and today we're getting dirty. There you go. Soil that's too wet. One giant ball. What happens when it's too wet is you get fungus and all that unwanted stuff on your roots. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave this out for a day. Not in the rain because it's raining out today, but spring waits for nobody. So we're just gonna leave this out, let it dry out a little bit so that we don't have any issues with fungus when we bring them inside, because on our last batch, we ended up having a surface fungus. It's like a mold, so it just gets everywhere. It's from overwatering or just excessive water, and that's why. I used the same soil last time. It's all just black earth, and it's super, like when it comes out of the bag, it's just damp. Like you can tell as soon as you open the bag, it went in soaking wet, and this stuff just never had the chance to dry out, so we're gonna give the opportunity now. Because of all the panic and stuff like that that's been going on with all the world stuff, it's been a little bit harder to find planting cups. So this time, instead of using our regular reusable plastic ones that I was hoping to get again or more of this year, I bought certified organic compostable cups, so that these are basically the same as the Jiffy Pots. They're not the best for growing the Jiffy Pots. You can see a visible difference in them for growing in. However, in a pinch, a container that can hold dirt and water that is biodegradable and environmentally safe works for me. What are we gonna plant today? We have some spinach, green onions, red and green lettuce mix, zucchini, Boston lettuce, another salad mix, and pickling cucumbers, as well as early beets. We're gonna go through these. We're gonna do our first rounds of spinach and lettuce and stuff like that today. We already have a few sprouts already started. We've already done our tomatoes, bell peppers, hot peppers. I started squash early because I want to be able to have 2 rounds of squash. And I think that's it. We have accidental starts of potatoes, so we're gonna plant those, but those are gonna be direct sown. So I'll show you when those go into the garden. And what we're gonna be doing today too is we're also going to move our greenhouse, which I told you guys is inside of our garage right now. I tried to set this up the other day. I'll go through like the build and all that in a bit. But I tried to set this up outside the other day, and it almost ended up in our neighbor's yard, like way over the trees and everything. It was super windy that day. Today, because it's actually storming out today, it's not as windy. Surprisingly, it's just raining. So this has actually been one of the less windy days that we've had in a couple of weeks. We're gonna take advantage of it today, and we're gonna stake this guy down and make sure that he stays put so that we can have our greenery and all that go into it today. Hopefully. I need all of that stuff out of our current growing spot inside the house so that these guys can move into the house and be our delicious salads for the rest of the year. Hopefully that gets done. Stick around to the end, or hit that subscribe and notification button to figure out when we post next to make sure it actually happened. You guys are the ones that keep me on track and keep me posting, so keep me accountable. Let me know if I'm not doing my job right. I've been out here for like 30 seconds. My pants are dirty. Everything's just dirty. It's beautiful. It's a great day. We're gonna go ahead and get started with our seeds and our cups, and we're gonna fill them up so that we have some fresh fruit for this year. Let's get started. Speed planting is exhausting. So one thing that I wanted to mention really quick is that I am really bad. I still don't really know these plants all that well, and I'm still learning how to work with them. So I'm really bad at identifying them as they're growing up. Labeling them is always super important for me because I actually planted a few herbs that are just starting to come up now. Forgot to label them. One of them is lemon balm and the other one is peppermint. They look super similar. I have no idea which one's which until it's gonna grow up. They're gonna probably have to stay in their pots a little bit longer than they would have had to if I'd actually labeled them. And when you're dealing with different varieties, it's super important, especially if you're dealing with lots of different peppers like we do. Jalapenos, habaneros, bell peppers, and I don't really want to get those mixed up because if I plant my bell peppers too close to my spicy peppers, it can actually change how they taste. So I need to make sure that I know which ones are going where, and same with these guys. It's gonna be really interesting on how your garden can change depending on where you put some of your plants. So planting your tomatoes with basil and vegetables you'd find in Italian cooking is actually surprisingly really beneficial for your tomato plant. More well-rounded fruit, they work really well together, and that's what we want to see in our garden. We want to work with nature. We don't want to work against her. The more we push back against nature, the more she's going to push back on us, and really she's going to win every single time, hands down. So I'd rather work with her and be her friend as opposed to something that's in her way. We're going to get these planted. I'm going to label them as I plant them, which I'm very excited for because I got specific cucumbers to do pickling with. I made pickles last year. I made some spicy sweet pickles and some regular sweet pickles. This year I want to do a really nice dill pickle for sandwiches and hamburgers that are super duper yummy. I hope that those will turn out quite well. So if you guys have any little tricks that you guys like to do to keep them crunchy, and you guys have awesome recipes, I'm sure, for all of these cucumbers to go in a nice voluptuous pickles, I would love for you guys to leave those down in the comments below. And if you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, I will let you know how they turn out when they're ready. So let's get these guys planted first off. These are what the zucchini seeds look like, and I'm going to be planting 6 of these. Our green onion seeds. We're gonna plant 9 of these because we eat a lot of onions in our house, as well as they take a little bit longer than everything else to grow. These are our beet seeds. They almost look like little crunchies. And these guys, I'm gonna plant 6 of these for a very special project. So the butter crunch lettuce seeds, and we're gonna plant 3 of these because these guys are our first ones that we're gonna plant in succession. So we're only going to plant a couple of them today. These are our spinach seeds, and we are going to plant 6 of these guys because they are super great for going into the freezer. They can be blanched, they preserve really well. So we're going to plant a lot of this stuff because spinach is one of the things that we really do eat quite a bit of. And these are, ooh, I almost lost a couple. Don't lose them. So these guys are the mixed lettuce seeds. It's a mild mix, so it's got lettuce, kale, corn salad, and a couple of other select specialty seeds. So we'll see what we get out of this stuff. It looks pretty delicious. Oh, almost lost a seed. And this was a gift from somebody for my bridal shower. So thank you so much to that wonderful person who got me seeds for my wedding. I really appreciate you. We are gonna be planting 3 of these because it's one of our succession plants. And these guys are our red and green lettuce seeds. And these guys are also going to be planted in succession, so we're only planting 3 of those guys as well today, and we're going to go ahead and get that done. You'll notice in my planting that I actually didn't end up doing a cucumber, and that is because it comes in tape. So it's already evenly spaced and it's already in its own organic casing. So instead of doing pots this year, we're gonna try and do these guys as the package recommends and direct sow them into the ground. We may get some pretty nice ones, we may not. This is our first experiment with plants, I guess. And we're gonna see if we get some decent cucumbers out of it. Because it's gonna be a little bit later in the season, we're technically supposed to plant this stuff about like 3 to 4 weeks before it goes into the ground, and this stuff is gonna have to grow directly from the ground. We're going to have to see how this goes. But everything else is ready to go. It just needs the seeds in it, so let's go ahead and do that. Now that these are planted, we are going to keep them in their trays and they're gonna get covered with this plastic. It doesn't have to be super fancy if you guys don't have a plastic covering like this, but if you want one, they're $2 at the local hardware store. At least here they are anyway. You can cover them with this plastic, or you can just cover them with a clear plastic that will keep any moisture and heat inside. The idea is that we're trying to keep these seeds as comfortable as possible until they germinate. After they germinate is a different. So germination ends when you guys can see leaves popping up. So when you can see some greenery coming up from the ground or from the dirt that you have put in these cups, that's when it's time to take them out of the plastic sheeting, out of that humidity, and off of any heat that you have. You can offer your seedlings heat mats. I don't use any of those, or I don't have any right now. See if that's something that we go to in the future for faster sprouting, because the faster the sprouting, it's rush minute. Kevin must be done work soon. So after they're done sprouting, you have covered them. They come out of that cover and they need to be on lower heat. So after they've germinated, they're your seedlings now. They don't need as much heat as they had. And exposing them to more and more elements as time goes on is really important. It's called hardening off. You usually want to wait a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to have your seeds directly being hardened off as soon as they come up, because then you're at the highest risk of losing a lot of your seedlings. You want to make sure they're at least an inch of stalk on them before you start to harden them off, depending on the time of year. So a lot of the seeds can be direct sown. If you're direct sowing, it's totally fine. Nature has been a part of that process for the whole thing. Don't worry about it. If you're growing inside, then you want to be able to harden off your plants. The most effective way to harden off your plants is to do it gradually. Now remember, these are your baby seedlings. You don't want to lose any. You've worked really hard for them to get to this point. So when you start to move them outside, it's best to do it over a span of 8 days. The first day you want to start off with just giving them an hour outside. The next day you want to give them 2, third day 3, fourth day 4, all the way up to 8 hours of full sunshine and outdoor exposure. You don't want to rush this process. That's when you're going to start to lose plants. If you go straight from no time all the way up to 8 hours in the day, you can add a lot of stress, especially if it's a super high windy day like it is today, or if it is really, really hot and you guys aren't offering enough water for them. They've been used to being babied, and they're going to complain and whine just like your kids are if you suddenly stop babying them. You want to make sure that these are given the chance to harden on their own and given the opportunity to be exposed to those elements, because they aren't going to live in your house for their whole lives. Unless you're in my situation where I have an avocado tree that lives in my house full time, but he doesn't know what the outside's like. He doesn't know what winter, spring, or fall is like. He knows a little bit about summer. Right now, our seedlings from our previous sprouting are in the spot where these guys are gonna go. So we need to get this bad boy outside before it gets a little bit crazy and get all of our seedlings into there. So that's kind of the second project that we have to do today. What are we waiting for? Let's go and do that. There they are. Just gotta give them a spritz. There we go. All covered. You can already see some of the condensation building up, which is exactly what we want to see. Grow, my pretties, grow. We're gonna go to the greenhouse.